Hello, and welcome to Soul Aligned CEO Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Morey. And on today's episode, I am really excited to share about a topic that's really important to me. So important to me that it is part of the name of this podcast, Soul Aligned. So I started the podcast last summer of 2023, and I started by interviewing entrepreneurs from all around the world who have started various businesses in different modalities, health and wellness, spirituality, holistic, all different types of creatives. And I started to notice a really common theme about being soul aligned. And so I wanted to take a step back today and have a conversation about what does it really mean to be soul aligned. Now, I'm going to share with you from my perspective, and this is from my own personal journey and also observations from the interviews that I have done over the last 7 months. So, I'd like to start a discussion about this because I think that that is one way to initiate change is by starting to have conversations and by being soul aligned in our work, whether we are an entrepreneur or a CEO or the CEO of our household or the CEO of your profession or corporate job, it's all semantics. And so we all can be soul aligned in the work that we do and that we give to the world. So I want to share with you three main things that I really think about as being soul aligned. And in some respects, they are the characteristics that I'm looking for when I choose guests to be on the show. And the first is being happy and aligned with how you are spending your time. The second is being happy and aligned with who you are spending your time with. And the third and final characteristic is your state of being. So let's dive in first and talk about how you're spending your time, because I think this is maybe the most obvious and relevant to many people when they think about being soul aligned in their work. Because your work is what you're doing. It's the physical tasks and the things that you are creating and producing and thinking about during what you would consider maybe your work time. So, how are you spending your time? Is it enriching you? This is key to me because a lot of times you can be doing work that you're good at, and it could even potentially be easy, but is it enriching you? Meaning, do you wake up in the morning and you are excited about what you're going to be doing? This often comes from either you are inspiring others or you are learning something new, but the type of work is actually fulfilling. And that's really important in being soul aligned. I know many of the entrepreneurs that I have had on the show so far are in alternative spaces. And that's a theme that I have seen, but it doesn't mean that you can't be soul aligned in mainstream professions as well. If you are feeling like fulfilled and enriched by your profession, no matter what it is, that's very soul aligned. And the second piece of that is, are you enriching others? So, what are you giving back? What's that output? That's also really important to really feeling like you are being purposeful in what you are working on. So it's not only are you enriching and fulfilling yourself, but is what you are producing enriching and fulfilling to others. And so those are really important aspects that I look for when I'm interviewing entrepreneurs or guests to be on the show. So that's how you are spending your time. So the next characteristic that I'd like to talk about is who you are spending your time with. Now, this one gets a little bit more tricky because, oftentimes you'll kind of say to yourself, well, I'm in this profession or I've started this business, and these are the people in this industry, that I have to interact with, that I have to engage with. If you have a service oriented business, who are your customers and clients coming in? Who are your partners and associates that you work with to expand your business? Now, I would challenge that you have the energy and the direct capacity to influence that. And so, as much as you might consider yourself, kind of beholden to whomever is in that space, you can choose, how you want the people around you to be interacting and to be in your space. And some things that are really important to me when I'm looking at, whether I'm building a team or doing a collaboration, it's how joyful is the person. Do they have a temperament that is optimistic and not necessarily like overkill pretending to be happy all the time, but do they have a genuine want to, be full of joy? And that makes a big difference when you surround yourself with people that are living in that way. Are they also inspirational? When looking at who I want to be spending my time with, are they offering something to the project or to the collaboration or even to the coach client relationship? Because it has to go both ways. And so that inspiration not only comes, from the person giving, but it can also come from the person receiving. And so that's something to consider also. And then just being compassionate and giving. I really want to surround myself and, have guests on the podcast that have an outlook of, what am I giving to the world, and not so focused on, what am I getting? Understanding that, of course, this is business and this is an exchange, so there'll always be something that the entrepreneur is getting in return for their time, and whether that's a monetary benefit or some other benefit. But I'm also looking at it from a standpoint of if there's a balance there, and what are you willing to teach and give and serve? So those first two characteristics, how you are spending your time and who you are spending your time with, are things that you need to make a choice about. And there could be some work involved in getting that organized and really established in a way that works for you. Now, this third component that I want to speak to is something that you can start right away, right now, and that is choosing your state of being. So, no matter how you're actually spending your time right now, so if you're potentially working in an industry or in a career, or you even have a business that maybe it's not ideal, like right at this moment, and maybe even if some of the people that you are engaged with or working with or partnered with, might not have the exact energy that you would rather be around all day. So, given those two alternatives, you still have a choice to choose your state of being. So, regardless of how you're spending your time and regardless of who you're spending your time with, you choose how you're coming into that scenario. And I know that that can be a difficult pill to swallow sometimes. I often, find myself, straddling multiple different worlds with the various businesses that I run. And, there are certain things that I would rather be doing. There are certain tasks that inspire me more. There are certain groups of people that are more engaging and, really inspiring to me. But I choose every morning how I'm going to be, regardless of what business I'm focusing on or what group of people that I'm interacting with. And that's a really important thing to distinguish, because a lot of times I feel like, whether you're on a entrepreneurial path, you're thinking about starting a business, you're running a business, it can get a little bit overwhelming thinking about, how do you want to set up the structure and who do you want to be engaging with, selling with, working with. Like those decisions can take some time. But the one decision that you get to choose every single day is how you are going to be. And so that's really what I want to leave you with today. I know this is a short episode, but I want you to start to really consider, how are you being every single day in regards to what you're working on, and whether you're developing something that you're going to be working on in the future, or whether you're in the midst of a career or a business right now. You choose every single morning, every single moment of the day, how you are going to be. And so if you want to be in a space that's full of joy and that's inspirational and that's giving, you first choose to be that. And so I always ask myself, if I'm in a situation that's not exactly how I want to be, how would I feel if I had everything organized and situated exactly how I want? Be those feelings now. So that's what I want to leave you with today. I hope that you have found this episode informational and enjoyable, and maybe you have even become a little bit inspired. I'm going to be sharing a lot about just getting back to the basics with manifestation, with creating, not only the work that you want in your life, but the relationships that you want in your life also, because it's all full circle. It all comes back to being soul aligned. So until next time, I wish you much peace, love, and joy as you pursue being more soul aligned. Thank you.